Going to have more news. Here's Shep.
Good afternoon from New York. I'm Shepard Smith. The bottom line on today's document, according to the document, not the Attorney General, is this. Robert Mueller reports he could not exonerate President Trump. And under department policy, he could not prosecute President Trump. So the special counsel laid out all the evidence and all the facts. And now it's up to Congress to decide what happens next. Setting aside the statements of the Attorney General, here are some of the major takeaways from the 448-page Mueller report. First, Russia did interfere with the 2016 election. That was no hoax. The investigation found no evidence that any member of President Trump's campaign team colluded with the Russians. The Trump campaign did attempt to get rival Hillary Clinton's private emails, but investigators found no evidence of a crime committed. Though there was not evidence of collusion between the Trump campaign and Moscow, the report concludes the campaign expected to benefit from the stolen information that the Russians released. Robert Mueller's report does not clear President Trump of obstruction of justice. In fact, the special counsel wrote that if he could clear the president of obstruction of justice, he would, but that he could not. Instead, he states his office does not have evidence needed to file charges. In many cases, the report shows that the president attempted to interfere with the investigation. In other instances, it indicates the president told associates to interfere with the investigation, but the associates refused. Investigators looked at 10 specific instances to determine whether they met the standards of obstruction. And here they are. The first involved the FBI Director Comey and National Security Advisor Michael Flynn. In January of 2017, President Trump fired Flynn after he lied to the vice president and to the FBI about his contact with Russia. The president told an advisor, "Now that we fired Flynn, the Russia thing is over." That month, the president also told James Comey that he needed loyalty. Of course, he later fired Comey. The second instance, the president's reaction to the Russia investigation. Specifically, his reaction when the Attorney General, Jeff Sessions, recused himself. The report reveals that the president later saw Sessions at an event and urged him to, quote, unrecuse. Number three, the president's termination of the FBI Director, James Comey. That came days after Comey declined to answer questions about whether the president himself was personally under investigation. Robert Mueller reports the president told the Russians that firing Comey had taken off pressure over Russia. Number four, the appointment of a special counsel and efforts to remove him. The report notes that President Trump called the White House lawyer Don McGahn and ordered him to tell the acting attorney general that the special counsel had conflicts of interest and must be removed. McGahn refused and said he decided that he would resign instead. An attempt by the president to interfere. Number five, efforts to curtail the special counsel's investigation. In June of 2017, the president told the former campaign manager, Corey Lewandowski, to deliver a message to Jeff Sessions, telling him to publicly announce that the Russia investigation was very unfair to the president. Lewandowski was uncomfortable with that order, he said, and passed the task to another senior official who was also uncomfortable with the order and never followed through. An attempt by the president to interfere. Number six, efforts to prevent public disclosure of evidence. In the summer of 2017, the president rejected a plan to tell the public that his campaign had met with a Russian lawyer who claimed to have dirt on Hillary Clinton. Instead, the president dictated a statement for the public, saying that the meeting was instead about adoption. The president's personal lawyer repeatedly denied that Trump played any role in that statement. However, he wrote it. Number seven, further efforts to have the Attorney General take control of the investigation. The president again asked Jeff Sessions to reverse his recusal from the investigation, which Sessions would not do. Number eight, efforts to have White House lawyer Don McGahn deny that the president had ordered him to have the special counsel removed. It was early in 2018 when reports began to circulate that President Trump ordered Don McGahn to remove the special counsel. Now we know that was true. The president did order Don McGahn to remove the special counsel. Further, the president personally ordered McGahn to lie about it and say that the reports were inaccurate. McGahn refused. Number 9, conduct toward Michael Flynn and former campaign chairman Paul Manafort, both of whom were found guilty. The president's lawyers asked Flynn for a heads up if Flynn knew of any information that implicates the president. And the president repeatedly praised Paul Manafort when he did not testify against the president and called him a brave man. Finally, number 10, conduct involving his personal attorney and fixer, Michael Cohen. President Trump's praise for Cohen changed when he started cooperating with investigators, even calling his former lawyer a rat. But after considering all of those instances, the special counsel's team reports it could not determine for sure whether the president obstructed justice. That's left for Congress to either pursue or not. So for now, whether the president obstructed justice is an open question, and that's not the only one. Our researchers counted more than 800 redactions in this report, the Justice Department concealing information that could affect other investigations or compromise sources. Democrats are calling for the report's full, unredacted release to members of Congress who see classified material on a daily basis. At a veterans event this morning, the president called the investigation a hoax, as he has done from the beginning.
No collusion, no obstruction. There never was, by the way, and there never will be. This should never happen to another president again. This hoax, this should never happen to another president again.
We'll have complete coverage throughout this hour, including legal analysis, lawmaker reaction, and, of course, more details from the special counsel's report itself. But we begin with the chief intelligence correspondent, Catherine Herridge, reporting live at the Justice Department. Catherine?
Well, Chef, it's important.